What's going on, guys, in the works? And today we're going to be taking a look at my PTFO weapon, as I like to call it, the CZ-3A1, which is actually a weapon I discovered because of my viewers. A lot of you guys were talking about the comment I made about Engineer being kind of pointless in Domination or TDM. And it actually brought up a good point that some of the PDWs are some of the best in-your-face weapons in the game. And I have to agree with that. There are some of the PDWs that are often overlooked, or you could say underused. I think it's a little bit too early to start doing underused weapons, but this is an under the radar weapon. How about we call it that? That way I can decide later if it's truly underused. But the CZ-3 is a weapon that shoots really, really fast. That is its main characteristic. It is a high fire rate weapon. It is really good at in-your-face, kill people super, super quick. It's similar to the FAMAS. I mean, the FAMAS did that really well in Battlefield 3, does it really well here in Battlefield 4. And when I first picked this up, I unlocked it, and I was like, man, what is this weapon? I didn't even know this was actually in the game, and my buddies were like, yeah, I've heard it's really good, but it does have a lot of recoil. So I tried it out, and I was like, meh, not really my cup of tea. I'm more of an accurate weapon kind of guy with a more moderate fire rate. But I kept finding myself in situations where I was the only one PTFOing. I was always up and close, and I was always in a lot of close quarters engagements. And with some of the lower fire rate weapons in the games, I just wasn't really competing with like AEKs and ACWRs. I needed something that packed a little bit more punch, or could even do better than those weapons. And I went back through, as a lot of you guys suggested, looked at some of the PDWs, rediscovered, I guess is the right word, the CZ, because I was looking at it, I was like, man, 1,000 rounds per minute. That is pretty fast. I mean, that competes with the FAMAS. It's like a little mini pocket FAMAS. And so I tried it out, and it took me a while to get in the mindset of using this weapon. It took me a while to discover, hey, if I see someone really far away, it is probably in my best interest to just say nope and walk away, or try to flank them at least, because this is not a long-range weapon. It does 25 damage up close, and that's pretty cool because it shoots 1,000 rounds per minute, 25 damage up close, up to 8 meters. That's a really, really quick time to kill within 8 meters. But once you kind of get out of this sweet spot of, like, 0 to 8 is the prime place you want to be with this weapon. But once you get around 15 meters and more, that's where it starts to get a little bit hairy, and you're like, oh, I don't know if I can actually take that person down or not. It takes a very accurate shot because this thing is not very accurate. I mean, it's not made to be a precision rifle. It is an up in your face, kill people as quick as you possibly can, move on to the next target, rinse and repeat. And one of the things that I was worried about when I saw this rifle was it has all those characteristics, but what was the reload like? Because the biggest crippling factor of a weapon like the FAMAS, for example, is the reload time. Now, granted, the FAMAS is a bullpup rifle, which typically do have slower reloads, but that was just something that always bothered me about the FAMAS, was that it only had 25 rounds, and it took a million years to reload. Luckily, with this weapon, you only have to wait 2.4 seconds to reload an empty magazine. Pretty manageable. I think a lot of us can deal with 2.4 seconds. If you do have one in the chamber, it only takes 1.9 seconds. So it is a pretty swift reload when you think about it. It's not going to be one of those really painful pull the magazine out, wait for them to pull the charge back situations. You're going to be pretty swift when you slam a mag back down in there. So this is my PTFO weapon, though. If I'm down and dirty, capping flags, conquest, even on the larger maps, I have been really, really enjoying the CZ-3A1. It gets the job done because there are a lot of situations where you find yourself tying with people or just not getting enough bullets on target before they kill you, because there are still some issues going with netcode. So if you've been suffering from that, up close engagements not going your way, this is a really good way to kind of counter that, because the more bullets you can get down range in this game, it seems to be the better. Because oftentimes the game will reward you with a kill that you didn't think you were going to get, is the easiest way to put it. So this is kind of that BS weapon. Get all that lead out there and hope that the game is in your favor and that it decides to give you the kill, because there's nothing more annoying than ties. But luckily the CZ-3A1 does not tie a lot of times. It wins the battles, which is something that I think we all can love. But as far as loadouts go with this weapon, I typically go with something that's going to help me from the hip, because hipfire is king when you're dealing with the CZ. If you get caught off guard, you want to just spray them with lead, because it's going to drop them pretty quick. Because PDWs have pretty awesome hipfire to begin with, you want to be out there enhancing that. So you run either the grips that will help the hipfire, Run the laser sight. I always run the laser sight. There's almost no reason to not run the laser sight. The only area that I would maybe change is if you want to slap a suppressor on it, because suppressor does do pretty good on this weapon, and you guys know how much I do enjoy using the suppressor. But since this is a weapon that I consider to be pretty quick to reload, sometimes you don't really need a suppressor. It's really up to personal preference. I've ran it with both. I don't really know if I have a true preference on it, but like I said, I typically gravitate towards the things that are going to enhance the hip fire. Because hip fire is king when you're dealing with high fire rate weapons. I'm sure you guys, whoever used the AEK or the FAMAS back in the day, know all about the hip fire. I mean, the MP7 is a prime example of a weapon that just excels in hip fire. And this is no different. So you want to be out there enhancing that when you're choosing your attachments. Don't use attachments that are going to help your long-range capabilities, because it has no long-range capabilities. But if you've had a chance to use the CZ, let me know what you guys think about it. Is there another PDW out there that perhaps you prefer more for PTFOing? This is my personal favorite. I think depending on your style of play, we might see some different opinions out there, and I'm pretty interested to see which weapons you guys are interested in using while PTFOing. But this episode is coming to a close. Like I said, not really ready to start underused weapons yet. That will be happening in the future, so keep an eye out for that. But if you missed my past videos, I highly suggest you catch the last video, which was talking about my ascent to level 100. And before that, I actually did a video on the bomber, which is actually pretty informative. So check either of those out. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.